Welcome to our deep dive into the classic, the challenging, and the downright iconic Super Ghouls and Ghosts. You might think you know everything there is to know about this legendary title, but we're going to peel back every layer. Buckle up as we explore not just the mechanics and the madness, but the very fabric of what makes this game a cult favorite. Super Ghouls and Ghosts is more than just a game. It's a rite of passage for any serious platformer fan. Released in 1991 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, it pushed players to their limits with its unforgiving difficulty and intricate level design. But what's the story behind the tormenting yet beloved game? What made it a staple in the discussion of the hardest games ever made? In this video, we're not just going to rehash how hard the game is or how many controllers were thrown in frustration. Instead, we're diving into the nitty-gritty, the development decisions, the artistic inspirations, and the technical challenges that shaped this masterpiece. We'll explore its initial impact, how it's remembered today, and why it continues to influence the gaming world. Get ready to look at Super Ghouls and Ghosts through the lens you've never considered before, uncovering secrets and stories that have waited over 3 decades to be told. Before we dive into the haunted depths of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, let's set the stage by looking at the landscape of gaming during the late 80s and the early 90s, when pixels ruled and game soundtracks were stored on cartridges. This was a time when platformers weren't just games, they were battlegrounds where legends were made, and Capcom was one of the key players. The Ghosts and Goblins series, the precursor to our game, first hit the scene in 1985. Throwing down the gauntlet as one of the most difficult games of its time. It was a title that demanded precision and patience, traits that would become hallmarks of the series. By the time Super Ghouls and Ghosts rolled around in 1991, gamers thought they knew what to expect. Little did they know, the bar was about to be raised. Capcom, already famous for hits like Street Fighter and Mega Man, was pushing the envelope with what could be done with the SNES. This era was marked by rapid technological advancements in gaming consoles, allowing developers more freedom to create complex visuals and intricate gameplay mechanics. Capcom took full advantage, employing cutting-edge technology and innovative design philosophies to make Super Ghouls and Ghosts a standout title. The development team, led by producer Takeru Fujiwara, was no stranger to the gaming scene. Fujiwara was more of a mastermind behind the original Ghosts and Goblins, and he brought a vision for this sequel that was both ambitious and respectful of its roots. The goal? Try not only to challenge, but to immerse them in a world that felt alive and unforgiving. One of the key challenges faced during development was dealing with the SNES hardware's limitations. The team wanted to create detailed, multi-layered backgrounds and complex animations for Arthur, our beleaguered hero, and his adversaries. This required innovative use of the SNES's Mode 7 graphics capabilities, which allowed for scaling and rotating backgrounds to create a pseudo 3D effect. This tech made levels like the rotating Mode 7 ship possible, which was both a visual spectacle and a nightmare to navigate. Artistically, Super Ghouls and Ghosts took inspiration from a blend of medieval European mythology and horror elements, which was a bold move that set it apart from other platformers focused on more bright, welcoming landscapes. The game's artists infused each level with a gothic atmosphere, which not only heightened the sense of danger, but also gave the game its distinctive aesthetic. The soundtrack, composed by Mari Yamaguchi, deserves a special mention. It complemented the visual horror with haunting melodies that stayed with players long after they turned off their consoles. Each track was meticulously crafted to enhance the eerie, desolate feeling of the game's world, driving home the isolation and peril that Arthur faced on his quests. Through these combined efforts, Super Ghosts and Ghouls became more than just a sequel. It was a holistic experience that tested both the dexterity and the courage of its players. Alright, let's get into the guts of what makes Super Ghouls and Ghosts tick. This game is a masterclass in design and mechanics, blending relentless difficulty with intricate gameplay elements that keep players coming back for more punishment. First up, the core gameplay mechanics that everyone remembers, the double jump. It sounds simple, right? Jump twice before you hit the ground. But in Super Ghouls and Ghosts, mastering this wasn't just useful, it was essential. This mechanic added a layer of strategy and skill that was unparalleled, allowing players to navigate treacherously designed levels with a precision that few other games demanded. Then there's the armor system, a brilliant twist that directly impacts gameplay. Arthur starts with his standard armor, but you can upgrade to bronze and then golden armor, each tier offering better defenses and enhanced weapon capabilities. But there's a catch. Taking a hit can reduce your armor status, or worse, leave you in your boxers, vulnerable to a single fatal blow. This risk-reward dynamic not only adds tension, but also forces players to play smart, weighing the benefits of aggression against the potential cost of recklessness. Weapon variety is another area where the game shines, from the standard lance to the powerful but slow magical staff. Each weapon changes how you approach the game's challenges. Some weapons are better suited for specific levels or enemies, adding a layer of strategy and replayability as players experiment to find the best tool for each section of their journey. Level design deserves a special nod. Each stage in Super Ghouls and Ghosts is meticulously crafted to challenge the player's timing and adaptability. From the haunted shipwrecks to the fiery depths of the underworld, the environments are not just visually distinct but also functionally unique, with obstacles and enemies specifically designed to test the player's mastery of the game's mechanics. The use of environmental effects like wind and moving platforms further complicates navigation, making every leap a life or death decision. When Super Ghouls and Ghosts hit the shelves in 1991, it quickly became a defining title for the SNES, setting benchmarks not just for difficulty, but for what a platformer could aspire to be in terms of complexity and depth. The game was met with acclaim for its challenging gameplay and detailed graphics, which were seen as a significant step up from its predecessor in the Ghosts and Goblins series. Critics and players alike praised the game for rigorous difficulty. Yes, it was hard, but it was the good kind of hard. The kind that made you want to try it just one more time, pushing you to your limits while somehow never feeling unfair. This balance is a tricky one to achieve in game design, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts nailed it, earning a special place in the hearts of hardcore gamers. The game's reputation for toughness, combined with its engaging mechanics and haunting atmosphere, helped it cultivate a dedicated fanbase. Over the years, this has included not just retro gaming enthusiasts, but also speedrunners, who've embraced its intricate levels and unforgiving nature as perfect fodder for their craft. The speedrunning community has breathed new life into the game, showcasing its depth and precision through countless streams and competitions, further cementing its legacy in the gaming culture. Moreover, Super Ghouls and Ghosts has influenced a wide array of modern games, especially within the indie game development scene. Many contemporary titles that embrace retro aesthetics and challenging gameplay owe a nod to Capcom's classic. Games like Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight, for example, echo the meticulous design and rewarding difficulty of Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Within the gaming community, Super Ghouls and Ghosts has achieved almost a legendary status, synonymous with extreme challenge and perseverance. It's frequently cited in discussions about the hardest games ever made, often with a mix of fondness and frustration. This dichotomy speaks volumes about its design, intensely difficult yet irresistibly compelling. So, after surviving the haunted landscapes, dodging death 1,000 times, and probably screaming at your screen more than you'd like to admit, what's the final word on Super Ghouls and Ghosts? This game is like that one friend who's impossibly tough to please, but makes every victory feel like you've just won the Olympics. It's punishing, it's petrifying, and it absolutely refuses to pull any punches. Super Ghouls and Ghosts didn't just set the bar for platformer difficulty, it threw the bar into another dimension where only the most persistent and skilled dare to tread. The game's legacy is not just about its difficulty though. It's about how it masterfully combines challenge with design, creating a gameplay experience that's as rewarding as it is brutal. In an era where games often hold our hands a little too much, Super Ghouls and Ghosts reminds us that sometimes the sweetest victories come from the bitterest battles. And, if nothing else, it teaches us the virtue of perseverance. Or at least, it teaches us to invest in a good controller that can withstand being thrown across the room in frustration. Here's to you, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the toughest, meanest, most infuriatingly fun game a lot of us will ever love to hate. If you enjoyed exploring the history and making of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Click this video here to see more from the Retro Reload. And, as always, thank you for watching.